Today's tutorial comes from a request by Josh Seabrook, who requested that I do a tutorial on Jack Johnson's Banana Pancakes. Good idea. Let's get started with the chords. The first chord is an A minor 7th, all strings opened. The next chord is G7. Then we have a C7th. D7th. The next chord is a D. Then we have a B minor. Then E minor. And a C chord. The big thing with this song is getting down the strum pattern. This is the one thing that might take you the most time to get used to, unless you have done a certain strum pattern like this before on other songs. But this song has a ukulele chuck incorporated into the strum pattern. And what a chuck is, we're going to go over what that is so you can make sure and do that, or at least practice it so you eventually get this down. You don't have to incorporate the chuck, you can just do regular strum and ignore it. But if you want to get the authenticity down in the song, you want to incorporate that chuck. For example, here's a chuck. Now I played all of the strings with my fingernails of my strumming hand at the same time that I muted those strings with the palm of that same hand, my strumming hand. Usually it's the bottom of your hand, the palm, or maybe the palm that's towards your thumb a little bit that you use to mute the strings during the chuck. I'll show you the chuck one more time. So that's the chuck. I'm going to show you how that is incorporated into the strum, and this is mainly during the chorus. Also during the introduction you hear a couple of those chucks, but I'm going to do a down up, chuck, up, down up, chuck. If I go a little bit faster, that's going to be a okay. So that's the strum pattern that has the chuck in it. Now during the verse, I have what I call kind of a light chuck. And my light chuck is played by, I mainly use this side of my strumming hand to mute the strings like this, and I just rest it like that on the strings. And I play the strings like I normally play them with my index finger while I'm muting it out over on this side. So this is my light chuck. You can tell it's not as loud as the regular chuck that I showed you. So during the verse, to incorporate those light chucks like I told you about, you're going to do these are both light chucks, but a down up, and then you'll play that G7th, just a quick little, and then you rest your palm to mute it out so it's not played out, it doesn't ring out, it's just a quick strum after the down up light chucks. And then you'll do another down up light chuck, and you'll go into the D7th, and then another down up, and then play the strings open. That's the A minor 7th. And then I do a light chuck downwards, and then I end with the C7th, going up, down, up. So I'll play the verse slowly one time through for you. And that's how the light chuck is incorporated into the strum pattern. There's also some lead parts of the song, but those aren't necessarily a strum, so I'm going to show you those as we go along. That's the strum pattern. Let's get into the introduction. The introduction starts out with a little bit of a lead. Ring finger, 2nd string, 5th fret. Play that once and slide up to the 7th fret, so that's a slide. Right after that, you'll play the number 1 string, 5th fret. And then play that number 2 string again on the 2nd fret. And then play on the same string, go down to the 5th fret. And then index finger on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. And then play the 2nd string open. And then you'll slide. You'll stay on that 2nd string. You'll slide from the 3rd to the 5th. Then you'll do a chuck. And then an up strum. So that's the first half. Second half, start off on the 2nd string, 5th fret, slide up to the 7th. Play that number 1 string on the 5th fret. And then play the 2nd string on the 7th fret. Slide down to the 5th. Go down to the 3rd. Play the 2nd string open. And then the 2nd string, 3rd fret. Chuck. Up strum on G7. So that's moving along. Start off same way again. 5th fret, 2nd string, slide up to the 7th. Play number 1 string on the 5th fret. Then you'll do a little hammer on from the 5th to the 7th on that number 1 string. And then play the number 1 string, 5th fret. 2nd string, 7th fret. 2nd string open. And then slide on the 2nd string from the 3rd to the 5th fret. Chuck, and then strings open, up strum, that's an A minor 7th. And then end the same way you did before with the slide from the 5th to the 7th, 2nd string. And then you play the number 1 string, 5th fret, number 2 string, 7th, number 2 string, 5th, number 2 string, 3rd fret, then play the 2nd string open, 2nd string, 3rd fret, chuck, up strum, G7. I'll play the introduction one time through for you. Alright, let's get into the verse. The verse right off the bat starts using those light chucks that I showed you during the strum pattern. We're going to start, from the introduction we ended with that up strum on the G7th. Well, we're going to do another up strum on the G7th. And then I'm going to rest my palm down on the strings, do 2 light chucks, a down up, and then I'm going to move into C7th, quick down strum, and then up strum chuck, a light chuck upwards in other words, and then I'll play that C7th down one more time quickly. So there's that little right before you start getting into the rest of the verse. So right after the, you're going to continue doing those light chucks, and you'll do a little down up, and then quick little down strum on G7th, to 2 little chucks, and then D 7th, 2 little chucks, A minor 7th, little chuck, and then up, down, up on the C 7th. So that's and that's the verse. I'll play that one time through for you. Let's get into the chorus now. The chorus starts out with a strum pattern that's down, up, chuck, chuck, up, down. And that's in A minor 7th. That's all strings open. So it starts out. And then you do that lead part, similar to what's in the introduction to the song that I showed you. And then you'll do a chuck. And then G 7th up, a little break, and then up again, chuck, and then end with an up strum. And then you'll do that lead part with the slide this time. Chuck. And then this is A minor 7th, up, up, chuck, up, and then chuck, G 7th, up, up, chuck, up. I'll play that one time through for you. Alright, last part of the song you need to know is the bridge. We're going to start off with A minor 7th, and you'll do a then go into D. A minor 7th, into D. And then B minor, E minor, C, G 7th, A minor 7th, G 7th. I'll play the bridge one time through for you. That's all there is to it. So there are a couple lead parts in that song. There's a little bit different strumming pattern with that chuck, but the more you practice, the faster you're going to get that down. If you're interested in learning other songs on ukulele, like Somewhere Over the Rainbow or I'm Yours by Jason Mraz and many others, feel free to click into my channel. I have a ton there. Don't forget to tell your friends, and for more videos like this, don't forget to hit subscribe. Till next time.